We are here for the final round of day one. This is Swiss round 8 between Wolfe Glick and Marcus Dion. The winner in both of these trainers are currently 5-2. We see Wolfe Glick here with Caridon and Lunala. This has been one of the more common combos we've seen Wolfie running throughout the series. We also have him here with his standard Incineroar. Of course, he has his Fluttermane paired up with his Caridon, then the Amoonguss and Ursaluna here, giving this team a pretty powerful Trick Room mode as well with that the Lunala here. And then, of course, we see the CIR, plus Maridon here. Of course, one of the top pairings in this event in terms of restricted here. And then, of course, we have the Electric Seed Volcarona, the Incineroar, the Choice Scarf Annihilate, and the Ogerpon Wellspring. Not a Pokemon we have seen too often in recent months, but of course, this team does have a few Pokemon weak to Urshifu Rapid Strike, so it is definitely cool to see it on this team.
You can big threat on the opposing end so quickly, but all of a sudden a swap in a Pokemon that, well, you can...
So on Wolf's side of things here, we do see a Covered Cloak Lunala with Terra Fairy running the pretty standard setup here, of course, with Moongeist Beam and Moonblast. Of course, we see the Wolfe Glick patent here, the Life Orb Close Combat Caridon, something he is pretty well known for at this point. Of course, we have the Safety Goggles Incineroar. I saw someone speaking the other day. I've never seen Wolfe run Incineroar without Safety Goggles. I do hope this we get to see Wolfie sends out Wolfie's Incineroar. That would be awesome. Of course, the standard choice, the standard Focus Sash Fluttermane set here for Wolfe, and then a relatively standard Rocky Helmet there on the Amoonguss with the standard moveset, and of course the Flame Orb on the Ursaluna. A very, very powerful Pokemon that I expect to see do quite a bit of work in this game, especially against the Maridon in a potential Trick Room mode. But of course, we see a relatively standard Calyrex Ice Rider set right now, which is the Glacial Lance plus Leech Seed. Of course, we see the Assault Vest Maridon, so not as much damage coming out as the standard, Choice Scar stuff, but of course Choice Specs, I meant to say there, but of course as the Snarl. We obviously have the Rocky Helmet Incineroar here with Parting Shot and Taunt, so very interesting to see the speed stats in this game. Of course, we see the Quiver Dance, Flamethrower, and Struggle Bug, paired with Electric Seed on the Volcarona here, which is very, very good on Maridon teams. I'm not sure if we will get to see it too much. We will quickly just jump back here to see the rest of the team. Of course, we also have the Choice Scarf Annihilate here, Final Game at Close Combat, Shadow Claw and U-Turn with Terra Dark, and then, of course, just the relatively standard Ogerpon Wellspring here with Ivy Cudgel, Horn Leech. So, very, very cool teams here. Going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I will say, looking at the teams here, I do think with Terrafire on the Calyrex, this is going to be a very important game for the Ursaluna and Wolf side of things. But of course, as well, with Marcus, what can this Annihilate pick up? Because it should be able to one-shot almost everything on this team, right? Of course, you've got the Final Gambit won't hurt the Lunala, and the Amoonguss on Wolf side of things, I would assume is tech to live it, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Trainers at 5-2, the final round of Swiss here, day one.
All right, so we have a Calyrex plus Incineroar lead for Marcus, and Wolf leading with his double restricted here, the Caridon and Lunala on lead. So, of course, Incineroar right now pretty well positioned. Obviously, does have Fake Out into the Caridon here, and a potential knockoff, I believe, into this Lunala. But of course, on Wolf's side of things here as well, some pretty powerful attacks. Of course, he can threaten the Moongeist Beam here into the Calyrex. We do know for the most part that these close combats with Life Orb, even at -1, do pick up a lot of KOs on these Incineroars. And it does look like Wolf is just going to go for that right off the rip. I really, really like this play by Wolf. You can't Terra both your Pokemon right now, so you've kind of got to decide, all right, am I gonna Terra the Calyrex here and not get one shot by the Moongeist Beam? Of course, there's always like a potential Fake Out plus Terra here as well, which I do think is probably really safe. But of course, with that Terra Fire as well coming out from Wolf here, the Calyrex will really struggle to deal damage into the Caridon. And of course, as well, with the potential, Wide Guard. Oh, Wolf going. Oh, dude, this is really good by Wolf. If this works out right, if Wolf gets this play correct here, and this is like, say, a potential Fake Out into that Caridon slot, and then like just a simple like Leech Seed into it as well, the Ursaluna could be positioned incredibly good. And Ursaluna the Thunderstruck, that's an awesome mark there as well. We are going to see the Terra coming out. Is this on the... Okay, it's on the Calyrex, right? Doesn't want to go down to the Moongeist Beam. Completely understandable. It is Terrafire, and Wolfe Glick is in a fantastic position right now. As long as he doesn't need a Glacial Lance, he is in a very, very good position. We do see the knock come out into Lunala. It holds. Very, very good. All right, what is this? It's going to be a Glacial Lance? It is. Okay. Very, very good play there by Marcus. Basically just removing two of Wolfsmon's off rip. I think Wolfe is going to be, I'm sure he's regretting not going for that close combat right now, because if he went for that initial play of close combat Moonguy's being, he would be in a way better position. But look, in saying that, I think had he got that play right, had that been something like a Leech Seed there plus like a fake out, Wolfe would have just been in a very, very commanding position. But look, now we have the, we have the Koraidon back on the board right now. It can do a lot of damage to either mon here. It is going to be very... I'm very interested to see how Marcus kind of wants to play this, because I do feel like right now this is just a free Glacial Lance turn for him. There's no reason not to, in my opinion. Like, oh, and Wolfe doesn't even go the Terror either. So as long as this is a Glacial Lance coming out of Marcus right now, this should just be a double KO, I believe. I think Wolfe right now is playing for the fact that he may have the faster Ursaluna, but it's going to be really interesting to see his speed spread here, because normally Ursaluna does... Oh, and it is faster! Oh, Wolfe Glick! Oh my god, okay, hold on. The GOAT is still in this. Wow, okay, so he's playing a bit of a speedier Ursaluna. Normally, a no-speed Ursaluna would always underspeed. So, no, I don't want to say always, no. Yeah, no, sorry, it's a speed tie. At worst, it's a speed tie, right? They're both 50 base speed here, so that is very, very big for Wolfe. Okay, you can see Marcus's face there too. I think he's a little disappointed there, because he's like, damn, I think he probably has a bit of speed on his Cali, so to see that his Cali go down there, very, very interesting. But now, Wolfe Glick, all of a sudden, has kind of turned this around, right? Because I believe was the last mon in the back for Wolfe here, the Amoonguss, so he could just look to sack off the Ursaluna here, potentially keep the Koraidon alive, and then he could have the Fluttermane on the board here. Looking at the EQ, I don't mind the Earthquake by Wolfe here, honestly, but I do think he wants to kind of just pick up that guarantee here on the Miraidon if possible. Wolfe at -1 though. Wolfe is known, I will say, for his jolly Koraidons here, so I would not be surprised if the fastest Pokemon on the board here is his Koraidon. But yeah, I do like Earthquake plus Protect here. I think it's pretty safe. It allows him to get his last mon in safely here. The Facade oh, it's a... Ooh, I apologize, sorry. It's a Moongus last mon. Okay, it was not the Fluttermane. This does make things a little bit different here. He does have to, try to keep this Koraidon alive right now. Okay, and the Spiky Shield comes out. This could be really, really big for Wolfe right now. If this is a Draco Meteor into the Amoonguss slot, which it is, Wolfe, the GOAT Glick. Oh my god. This Ursaluna on 20 HP has just done insane amounts of damage to the two restricteds in this game. Out to one tap. My goodness. I cannot believe Wolfe Glick has just clawed back into this game after that awful turn 1 for him. This is insane, because there is absolutely no way an Ogerpon Wellspring right now is taking out a Koraidon from roughly 70% HP. He's going to double resist both moves here, the grass types and the water type moves here. It's potentially in Sun. Yeah, this feels really, really good for Wolfe all of a sudden. Wow, I can't believe Wolfe turned this around. That Ursaluna speed is actually insane. That literally turned this game around, man. Like, he lives the Glacial on 20 HP and then fires off a Headlong and a Facade, one-tapping both restricteds. Like, that's insane. And Spiky Shield is on cooldown here. Yeah, this should just be a pretty free picking up with the KO here. I don't think it matters what Wolfe does here. I don't think Ogerpon, even with the crit right now, can KO the Koraidon. And even if the Ogerpon does live, I do believe it goes down to a Pollen Puff. But yeah, GG. Man, what a turnaround for Wolfe in that game there. That turn 1 looked incredibly scary, right? Think about it. He loses his Lunala for absolutely nothing. His Ursaluna comes in. It gets the Flame Orb activated. And in return, it loses like 90% of its health. So a very, very scary turn 1 for Wolfe there. And somehow with, a bit of speed on that Ursaluna, he was able to turn it around and kind of just reverse sweep. So, yeah, GG to Wolfe, man. So we are here, start of game 2. Marcus not changing anything up here. He is going to lead with the Incineroar Lunala, and Wolfe also keeping the same leads here with double restricted. Look, I do think now Wolfe has shown off that this Ursaluna is quite fast, right? We know it's faster than the Calyrex Ice at a bare minimum. So Wolfe, I think he can look to play a bit more aggressive on turn 1, right? He doesn't need to look for that Trick Room, yeah? Like, we know, game 1, he goes for the Trick Room, right? Obviously, it doesn't go off, thankfully for Wolfe, I believe, because had it gone off, I think he would have been in quite a bit of trouble there. But yeah, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he wants to adapt. I do think going for the offensive play he was looking at originally in turn 1 was very good there. And we are also going to see here the Incineroar will switch out here into the Annihilate. Very, very smart play, right? This is coming into, I believe, a close combat, which definitely is not too bad. And we do see the wide gun here too. So Marcus looked a little disappointed there. Would not be surprised if we do see the Glacial Lance come out, but the Annihilate switch in there, very, very good. Oh, he actually goes to Leech Seed too, so Marcus called that turn one perfect. So now the big question here is, what does this Annihilate look to do? Of course, there is a Protect on the Koraidon, we know that. And if it does Protect and there is a Moongeist Beam fight into the Annihilate, of course, it will go down for almost nothing. But in saying that as well, of course, it does have other options. It could potentially fire off something like, I would assume a Shadow Claw into this Lunala, which also would do quite a bit of damage. And you do see Wolfe potentially looking here at the Terror. Oh, he's actually not going to go for the Terror here. He's just going to... Is he going to just go the Moongeist Beam? He's looking at the Wide Guard again. Yeah, this is really difficult for Wolfe here. Okay, he's making the call. I don't mind this call at all here if he does go for it. Oh, man, this is tricky, right? Is this going to be like a final Gambit and Glacial? Yeah, look, I don't mind this call because I do feel like the final Gambit into Koraidon right now is super obvious. And because of that, you just want to keep it alive and just fire off some big attacks. But the scary thing here is, like, is this Lunala in range of an attack from the Annihilate right now? Because it can do, yeah, with the Shadow Claw, it can do quite a bit of damage here. And it is going to just pick it up there. The Shadow Shield was broken. I do not believe the crit matter. That was 4x damage there. So that is a huge KO there for Marcus. The question is, how much damage can Wolfe Glick do right now with the Flare Blitz? There is no Terror coming out of Marcus here. This is a -1 Koraidon, but it is Life Orb boosted in the sun, and that is a one-hit KO. Wow, that is huge for Wolfe Glick there. And now, the other thing too is we do know that Marcus right now is locked into Shadow Claw, and there is a normal type in the back for Wolfe, being that Ursaluna. Oh, it does look like Wolfe is not going to opt for it right now, though. I don't mind this play at all. Just keep the, keeping the Koraidon a bit safe here, right? You've got the support of the Amoonguss here with the redirection, and in the end game, this is an Assault Vest on the Miraidon, so potentially, if that is the last one in the back of Marcus here, it can't deal as much damage as the standard choice specs variants can. And of course, having just redirection right now does really kind of slow down what the Annihilate wants to do. In this matchup in particular, it's not going to do an awful lot of damage right now. But the big thing here is the potential fake out, right? I believe a safe play from Wolfe right now would be just something like a double protect potentially. He could also look to heal up the Koraidon. But the big question is, does Wolfe believe he can live at something like a fake out plus a Shadow Claw right now? At -1, that does feel a bit more difficult. If he does think he can do it, obviously a side Polar Puff right now is not the worst thing in the world. A potential side Polar Puff and pivot into the Ursaluna in the back as well is not too bad. But it will be interesting to see how Wolfe kind of just wants to play this here. There's a few options. Of course, Spore right now doesn't feel amazing just because Miraidon could come in at any time. And that is likely what we're going to see come in right now, just to potentially eat a Spore into that Annihilate slot. And it is what we do see. If this is a potential fake out right now into the Koraidon, which I would assume we would see right now, the close combat into the Incineroar right now is, I think, pretty scary for Wolfe. So just faking it out right now does make a lot of sense. And of course, having that side Polar Puff here as well could potentially just heal back any damage. Oh, and we are going to see the Terror actually coming out right now, which means there isn't really any good way right now for Marcus to keep this Miraidon slot alive. Of course, the Terror Water here will keep Incineroar alive for a couple turns. Longer than normal, just in front of this Ursaluna. But right now... Oh, and of course... Yes, sorry, there was a Protect coming out there. But right now, I am a bit worried about Marcus's ways just to kind of get through this Ursaluna right now. Like, this is very well positioned, right? It's full HP, it's burnt, it's next to an Amoonguss, so there really isn't anything right now that Marcus can do to just stop a headlong rush into that right-hand slot. And that is what Wolfe here is looking at right now. Oh, things could get really dicey right now for Marcus, I believe. The biggest thing for Wolfe right now, though, I believe, is just keeping Amoonguss alive right now. You need Amoonguss alive when that the Annihilate hits the board, because you need to be able to redirect a potential final Gambit here. So Wolfe is kind of contemplating what he's going to do. The headlong rush into Miraidon does seem pretty safe. Amoonguss right now should not go down simply to the Incineroar, and because of that, Marcus does feel like he kind of has to Draco into this Amoonguss slot right now, I believe. If he doesn't, you could potentially see unless there's Volt Switches right now into the Incineroar, maybe that's Marcus's out here, is like Wolfe just... Yeah, this actually could be a really heads-up play by Marcus right now. If he does Volt Switch out here, I think the biggest thing for Wolfe right now is he needs to live this turn. He really needs the Incineroar to survive. Or does he need... Incineroar to survive this? I'm just trying to think this through in my head, right? Because the big thing here is Annihilate, basically its only way through this Amoonguss right now is a final Gambit, right? And of course, this Headlong Rush is going to deal quite a bit of damage. Probably doesn't pick up at -1. God, that's still a lot more damage than I thought there would be. So yeah, now things get a bit more interesting, right? Because we have Fake Out on the board, right? Rocky Helmet is also up as well, which is really good. So Annihilate is in this weird position where it probably doesn't want to final Gambit anything. But at the same time, like, a close combat into Ursaluna that gets redirected could be pretty scary. Wolf does have a double protect, so Marcus could potentially look to punish that right now. You know, potentially go for something like a, you know, hard swapping out the Annihilate. Wolf is just straight up looking at the Earthquake here as well, which I do think is quite interesting. He's got to make the call. Oh, and it looks like he got it wrong potentially here. Trying to get that Miraidon on the switch in there with the Headlong Rush could have been really good. But yeah, this is kind of what I expected to see from Marcus here. He knows he needs to keep the... He knew he needed to keep that Annihilate healthy. I guess the question is... Okay, there's just a straight up Fake Out. So... Again, Wolf is now still in a pretty decent position, right? So the sun's gone down, which means the next time Koraidon touches the board, he gets to reset the sun. Of course, the Ursaluna right now is -1, but there is no terror on Marcus's side of things. Amoonguss is still alive to redirect. And yeah, Wolf could potentially threaten a double KO right now. I don't know if a -1 Earthquake picks up this Miraidon though. I know these Miraidons can be quite bulky. And at -1, I don't love Wolf's chances. But we shall see. He is potentially looking at it, of course. Ooh, and he's just looking. A Headlong Rush would, I believe, KO right now. But the issue is if he goes for the Headlong Rush, then he gets into an endgame where Annihilate could potentially just clean up. But it does look like Wolf right now is looking to play an endgame where his win condition here is the Ursaluna, right? Potentially sack off your Koraidon right now, and then get Ursaluna back in next to Amoonguss once Miraidon goes down. And then you just look at something like a potential redirection into a Earthquake. And there is a Draco Meteor, so this will be the end of Wolf's Koraidon. The question is, how much damage can this this Incineroar do right now? Because we do know there has a couple Headlong Rushes clicked. So Ursaluna's defensive stat is not as high as it normally would be. So a knockoff right now could do quite a bit of damage here. Oh, and that was a lot of damage. He does lose the Flame Orb. This should be a one-shot, even at -1 HP. So now the big question here becomes, can Amoonguss take 2 hits? Can Wolf pick up another KO and then potentially finish the game off? It does only do 13 points of damage there as well, so we do know Wolf here can get off potentially 2 more attacks with his Ursaluna, depending on how well Amoonguss can keep it alive right now. Oh, this is dicey. Neither trainer here has a restricted Pokemon left. We have an Incineroar on low HP. We have a Ursaluna on low HP, and we have a full HP Annihilate and Amoonguss. So again, this is where it kind of gets, you know, a bit tricky, right? If you're looking at things on the Annihilate side of things, it has to go for the final Gambit if it wants to pick up Amoonguss. A lot of Amoongusses though do actually tech to live the final Gambit from the Annihilate. So because of that, you kind of don't want a final Gambit right now, I don't think. But then you get into this really tricky situation where you're a Choice Scarf Annihilate that likely has max HP. There's probably minimal, you know, investment into the attack on this Annihilate. So can something like a, you know, a Flare Blitz plus a Shadow Claw pick up Amoonguss? It's going to be difficult. You do see Wolf here looking at the EQ. You've got to question, is he assuming right now that this Amoonguss is going down to a potential double up? That's the big question, right? Because again, there's enough HP on this Amoonguss where I would like to think with Rocky Helmet and Flare Blitz recoil, Marcus would just lose his Incineroar right now. Oh, and he does go the knockoff. Quite smart there. But we do see Amoonguss there. It lives 2 hits, which means we know Amoonguss next turn definitely lives a double up as well if he goes for the same combo. Oh, and that's a lot of damage. Oh, I think at this stage, Wolf has it, right? Redirection into Earthquake. Every mon gets KO'd next turn, but the last one to go down is the Ursaluna. Oh my god, and the EQ from the GOAT. Has he done it? Has Wolfe Glick defied the odds? He was 2-2. If he can go 6-2 right now and qualify for day 2 of Worlds, this would be insane. We are going to see the Shadow Claw comes out. He needs a crit. He's not going to get it. He gets the knock. It's 1 HP. Oh my god, the EQ to come through. It clears the board. everything goes down. Wolfe Glick has made it through to day 2 of the World Championships, man. The GOAT does what he does best. Oh, you love to see it. Last year, like, I think people forget, last year this man went 16, I think it was 8-0. He went 16-1 on day 1. Today, he was 2-2 to start the day, but he's pulled it back on the back of this Ursa Luna. My God, did it put in damage. You know, the Lunala today, look, it didn't have the best showing, right? It kept getting one shot. It wasn't doing too much, but that Ursa Luna was the second restricted today for Wolfe Glick. And honestly, you know, massive congratulations to the GOAT. Cannot wait to see what he does tomorrow.